What? You're recording.
Feels like I just walked 100 k's.
We walked about 2 miles.
3.
Well, once we go back, I don't think it'll be about 3 or 4. Moeni. My name is Karena. This is Shanae. And we are building strength by moving off-grid. Each week we will share our progress as we begin to bring this off-grid vision to life. For our Patreons, we'll begin an additional private blog that shares more details and answers your personal questions. Hopefully this is the last step of this mistake and we can forget about it and start over. And walk 2 miles back home. Wow, that's too far. As we pass 6 months without you, bro, we continue to wonder why. We realize nothing will ever change it, but sometimes it's good to cry. We're taking our next steps forward, and we hope to make you proud. Soon everyone will hear us, because we'll scream it loud. Sometimes we'll make mistakes, that's what we're here to do. But we'll continue to do things our way, and we will always think of you. When our mind is overwhelmed, it's in a million places. We're bound to mess things up if we keep entering these races. Today we share a stupid mistake that has cost us quite a lot. But we know things could always be worse. So for that, we're thankful it's not.
Oh my god.
You will.
Whew. It's so dramatic.
Yes. So an hour later, we're almost back home from dropping off the letter. We decided to walk to drop off this letter to think about what we've done and hopefully think about it for the last time because it's finished. So let us tell you about the long road to nowhere.
Yeah.
Where do we actually start?
Yeah. You know, everything is just so dear mekaar. A person can't even decide where to start.
We wrongly thought
Yeah.
things were easier in the United States than in South Africa. Okay, so the story actually begins when we first tried to register Ren Hockey as a nonprofit in South Africa and the United States. That was in 2019, which we had help from my good friend Chris, and then we had our first event the next day.
Great. Okay.
So we correctly registered everything in South Africa. There's no fees to do anything there, which is nice. Here, we registered it correctly in 2019, Ren Hockey, as a foreign nonprofit corporation. The way we were running Ren Hockey was nice, it was fun, but the kids were hungry, the kids were not getting what they needed. So we knew we needed to try something different. So that's when we decided to go off-grid. So when we decided to build things off-grid, we came home to the United States, where we've been planning a lot, and maybe that's part of the reason why we were a little distracted when it came to registering Ren off-grid in the United States. We had our boards, we had all the paperwork done, but we incorrectly submitted everything as an LLC, which we're not.
I don't think we did it incorrectly. We were misled by the misinformation and complication of the system.
Well, I do remember the first time when we registered with Chris, it was nice because we could call and talk to somebody, and they did tell us exactly what to do, and that's why we did it correctly. But that's been 3 years, and we didn't think that it was even open anymore, to be honest. And it was only like 2 days ago that I saw Ren Hockey as a nonprofit foreign corporation is still registered in Pennsylvania. but I don't think I guess there's nothing to maintain it each year. So long story, very short. We drove to Harrisburg to register ran Offgrid in person because we thought that would be quicker and more efficient, but it wasn't. It was only like 6 months later that we realized that we were not registered correctly. We are not an LLC. Okay, so we brought this party in from the cold to talk about our mistake and why it was actually a blessing in disguise. We dropped a letter in the mailbox, so hopefully that's the last piece of that, to officially dissolve the LLC in Pennsylvania. And then when we got back home, our original plan was just to let it all go for now and just focus on getting back to South Africa, getting set up, and starting to build the gardens. And we realized that we can do that regardless of whether we officially are registered or not, and that's what's most important to us. So
no paperwork is going to stop us
yeah,
from feeding the people.
Yeah, buddy. So we'll get back there, we'll start growing gardens, and in the meanwhile, Shanae did find a way to register it in South Africa, which we, for some reason, just assumed it would be more complicated, but it's probably more complicated here, and maybe that's for a reason, but...
Yeah, so the plan of action is we'll register, the NPO is registered in South Africa. We need to do a name change from Ren Hockey officially to Ren Offgrid. Once the name change has taken place, we will open up a bank account with FNB, and we can do that online from here.
It's pretty impressive.
Yes, so Offgrid Strength will then be our registered business in South Africa. Also very easy. I spoke to an online agent just now, and she helped me through the documentation we will need and sent me the online links and everything. So what FNB does, they help you with the registration online to register a business, and then as soon as it's registered and they are also notified, they automatically open up an account. So that way our business account and our NPO account will be sorted out online. What we didn't tell you guys in the previous video is when we the cost we incurred, like opening up and registering an LLC, NPO, all of these things. I think our cost ran to about minimum $1,000.
That's because we did the tax exemption here, but now that was a waste, so we're closing it all. But putting it behind us was a costly mistake.
Soos my ma sê, dis water onder deur die brug, my kind.
Water under the bridge.
It's done and
My
dusted.
child.
Yeah. That is how we learn, but I think also something that we realized is that people that if you don't have a qualification in business and tax and all of these things, the normal person, it's so hard to navigate the system with all the different rules and regulations, and it's 3 tiers of tax you need to submit, and with each and every application the fees are just so high. Even thinking as a non-profit that wants to start off, the amount of fees we had to pay just to get registered is kind of a rip-off, because we want to get that money. We want to get that money into the hands and the tables of the people, not just go towards administration.
Yes. Yeah.
And in South Africa, we don't pay to register an NPO.
Yeah, I feel like an idiot for even going through all the hassle now of doing it here. There was a fee for everything we did, and then there was eventually a fee for closing it, which is hopefully the last fee. But
I think for the normal person out there starting off a business, like
yeah.
if you don't have the capital and you don't have, if you don't have the capital to pay the people that knows how to do this, it's very hard to start a business. And I think we become very judgmental on people that don't have jobs, and it's easy to say, oh, they must get up and not be lazy and do something for themselves, and if you can't find a job, start something and be creative. It's easy to say that, but
even know how to navigate the system so you don't make the mistakes that we made. Yeah, it's a problem. It's things we don't learn in school, and we probably should, because I wouldn't say that I'm a dumb person. I'm a PhD student, but not in business. We have all the expertise to run successful programs and do the sports and the gardens and everything, but this part, not so much.
Yeah.
And even when we were getting started, 6 months ago, when we were trying to register it here, a lot of the advice we got was just to ask a professional, pay somebody. Even people who were offering to help were not really offering for help. They were looking for an income. Everyone just wants to and needs to make money.
Yeah, everything there was a fee. Like, I was really shocked the fact that NPOs pay so much. The one thing we read with the LLC is for each board member there's a fee of how much per year?
$520. Because
dollars.
But the difference is that now we know the difference is that the LLC members are owners, even though we don't have anything to own. So each owner is essentially paying, I guess. So, but it's $520 per owner.
Yes.
We have 9 board members on the nonprofit.
But there was no one is willing to help you for free with these type of services and information. And
I think the advice we did get eventually led us down the wrong path. But now we know.
Yeah.
It's a blessing in disguise. Because things are much simpler, clearer in South Africa, which we'll get to that when we get to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what I was thinking about when we were walking back is slowing down, trying to focus more on what is right in front of us, what we're doing right now. And I think we need to get back to South Africa and set up. And I need to get back to my PhD, because I've been neglecting it for a little while. But it's a sign to start getting it done, because not that I will be applying for any jobs, I guess, that need it, but I think it's very relevant to what we're doing, because it's sports science, but specifically sport for development, and what we're doing is applying human-centered design in the approach to create the sport programs, which is even more so why I think it's better that our nonprofit and business is delayed a little bit, because you can't really put those things in stone and solidify it if you don't know exactly what it will be. So, for us, we know we'll be growing food. And we'll know we'll be playing sports, because sports are a great way to connect people, especially in South Africa, where sporting culture is pretty big, and in places where you don't get a lot of opportunities to play sports, when there is one, everyone comes together, and it's a lot of fun. But we know the main thing, gardens.
yeah,
We'll be growing food, but in different ways. Whichever ways work for the situations that we're in, for the people that are there, for the landscape, for the land soil, everything. There's a lot of factors to consider, because what we were doing in Kailicha was good, but obviously it's going to be much different now when we go to the Eastern Cape, because we're going from an urban poverty situation to a rural poverty situation.
a lot less resources.
A lot less resources, but the fact that we're going to go off grid. We have the land. We are able to create resources with less, which is why we wanted to go off grid, because as things were going, we could not continue just buying groceries and giving food that's coming from the store, because that's maintaining the system that's not working. So taking a few steps back, and maybe now taking even more steps back, but it's okay.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get home. I tell Karina every day, I want to get working, I want to get building. Like, want to get my hands dirty.
Oh, there will be.
Yeah.
Yes. So, January, we'll be going back. February, we'll be on the land. February 26th, Bryson and Shanae's birthday.
We'll break ground.
Yeah, buddy. Because it's time to do things our way. So since we kind of pushing the brakes a little bit on nonprofit officially, we are going to focus on the storytelling aspect of this whole thing. Our Patreon page is where we will be writing private blogs, which only our Patreons will see. If you join the Patreon, you're supporting our efforts to tell the story, and you're telling us that you really like it, and also directly supporting the gardens, because everything that is coming in is for that purpose. That is the only thing we are focused on right now, is getting back there, setting up the gardens, but mostly telling people about it so that people understand and people want to get involved and know that the world is a lot bigger than what they might see in front of their face.
Yeah, I also think like we choose the whole small donor thing and prefer taking donations and assistance, whether it is in a form of services or time or whatever that you can provide, rather than taking these big donations from corporate companies and stuff and being told what to do and how to spend the money.
Essentially, that is human-centered design.
Yeah.
Is starting where you are, seeing how things are, and working from the ground up instead of top down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, Leafy. So that is definitely something that's important to us, and we look forward to, when we get back, creating some type of mural for everyone that has sponsored until this point. There will definitely be some type of incorporation between the Patreons and the garden, the Enough Garden, which we'll be building. That will be on our land, which will eventually be used to create the other gardens.
Yeah. I think the whole goal with the whole Patreon thing and the contribution is where I would want to create that relationship between the person contributing any funds, following the progress of what they are contributing to. So having that consistent communication about their specific piece of project that they are contributing to. So there's interaction. That's the idea. We don't just want you guys to just sponsor or donate or anything and that's kind of where it ends. We want you guys to donate and sponsor and help and be part of it and interact and communicate with us and the people on the other side and the project on the other side, so that it's something real and tangible to the people helping. I think the impact, as big as the impact as people donating have on the community, I think that giving part and seeing what's happening has just as big as an impact on the person giving. That's why they're saying giving is healing.
But that connection's missing a little bit.
Yes, especially with the big corporation kind of sponsorship way how they approach it.
Yeah. So we like the small donor, small community, big impact approach.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll definitely be doing something special to celebrate the new year for our Patreons before we go back. So if you become a Patreon before then, there'll be something special for you. Probably something handmade. But we'll have to find out.
Okay.
Så ons klaar nou.
Ons is klaar nou.
Oké, ik wil koffie hê.
Bye.
Just kidding.